Hey guys, it's me Chandrik, and today I will do the simple guide for Yae Miko. And actually, I'm one of the Yae Miko main that I already use like since release 1.5 until right now. I always use every day, so I like it because the playstyle is pretty lazy gameplay, and I'm kind of lazy person. So yeah, I will cover like the builds, talent, something like that, team, and like the updated with the Dendro team. So let's get started. As usual, let's start with the character talent so we have better understanding what how to use that character. As for Yae Miko, normal charge attack, plunge attack, there's no special gimmick in here. It's just like her animation is very beautiful though, because usually Kettle's user have beautiful animation, but actually there's nothing special. For the elemental skill, where the main gimmick come for Yae Miko, it goes Yakan Evocation Seso Sakura though. Basically, if you're already familiar with visual elemental skill where she will summon Oz, then how the elemental skill will work with Yae Miko also very similar. The difference is that Yae Miko will summon turret instead that looks kinda fox and it calls Seso Sakura. You can even vertically strike enemy nearby opponent though, dealing electro damage. Same with official elemental skill though. And another difference is that it can summon up to 3 turret or up to 3 Seso Sakura, and the more turret that you have, the level become higher, so that means it becomes stronger. You can see even the scaling here. If you deploy only one turret, only 103, right? If you have two, it becomes stronger. If you have 3 turret, it become level 3, so it become 161. That's why I very recommend for you to keep maintaining the 3 turret all the time, so don't forget to click elemental skill 3 times. And I think it should be no problem at all to maintain like the 3 turret all the time, because the cooldown is very fast and I have no problem since 1.5 until right now. It's very easy to maintain at the 3 turret all the time though. But if you kind of wonder why it has level 4 in here though, does it mean you will have the 4 turret? No, because you already read in here, it only can get max into 3 turret only though. So this is level 4, it's only for C2 or feature only, where it will start from the first turret from the level 2, the second turret will become level 3, and the third turret will become level 4. So this is only for the C2 only. So sadly, it will not work for Z0. For Z0, you can only see from level 1 to level 3 though. As Yae Miko Elemental Burst, basically Elemental Burst from Yae Miko is very similar like Hu Tao or Zhongli, where it's kinda considered as a nuke type burst. They will dealing a lot of damage in short period amount of time though. But in case of Yae Miko, she will summon the Thunderbolt Strike that dealing AoE electro damage quite strong, and it can strike up until 4 times though. But how you can utilize until it strike 4 times? By sacrificing your on field turret that you have though from your elemental skill. Let's say you have 3 turrets right now on field, then your thunderbolt can strike 4 times. But if you only have 2 turrets, your thunderbolt can only strike 3 times though. So you can see in here the scaling is pretty high. So if you have the Tenko Thunderbolt, it becomes stronger, and then the cooldown is pretty long, the energy cost is pretty high. That's why it's strong, it's good for the nuke, but the cost is not really friendly. But this is actually good, the situation where you fight kinda enemy that have short window attack, like kinda Ruin Serpent, the Hypostasis. This is can be very effective. So the passive in here basically say when you use the elemental burst and you sacrifice, let's say, the 3 turret, right? All your 3 turret cooldown will be reset though. Basically you lose nothing though. It will back from 3 slots again though. So it just like have a very weird gimmick though. That's why in here the combo that I always don't forget to use is EEE 3 times or elemental skill 3 times, use burst, and don't forget to follow up with elemental skill 3 times though, because you will get 100% refund though. So if you didn't use that, you will waste it though. As for second passive, this is basically mean that if you have higher elemental mastery, it will buff your elemental skill or turret more though. But I have to say this passive is quite tricky, because this passive can fully utilize only in niche situation though, where you only care like about the elemental skill. You don't care if your elemental burst deal very low amount of damage, or you're probably in Dendro team that you want to utilize as aggravate only or something like that, or you are in the C6 situation where it's basically you want to buff everything in the Yae turret itself though. But other than that, if you want kind of a general build or universal build where you want a balance both high in an elemental skill and elemental burst, then go for attack though, because attack is still universal, and I still prefer the universal build though, that can make both of the damage is higher, burst and skill though. So take notes, if you don't care about the burst, then okay, you can stuck in elemental mastery though. But for me it's not worth, because sacrificing the elemental burst damage is not worth though. But if you feel that's okay, then that's okay. Or probably if you're C6, then okay, you can go for elemental mastery. So yeah, take notes with that. As the last one, this is only like quality of life, have 25% to getting extra material, which is not bad. For the 5-star weapon, basically there's a lot of 5-star weapon that can equip for Yae though, but of course the best of the best is Kagura Verity. That's the signature weapon of Yae. The subset gives you critical damage, which is good. The effect also give you elemental damage bonus, which is good though. Other than that, you can try Skyward Atlas, it's also good. The scaling gives you a attack percentage, which is good, useful for Yae also, and the effect also gives you elemental damage bonus though, which is that good though. It will benefit Yae. Other than that, you can try Lost Prayer. Yeah, you will may complain that this is only for on-field, better for on-field, but you can try to read the effect again. The subset also not bad, is critical rate, and the effect is said that you can get the 8% of elemental damage bonus every 4 seconds though. So most of the time you can get one stack though. So which is most of the time we can get 8% plus of elemental damage bonus, which is actually that's not bad, right? So that's why you can still use the Lost Prayer though. And the last one is 1,000 Floating Dreams. That's basically the signature weapon of Nahida, but I think Yae Miko still able to work with this, especially if you only care about the elemental skill damage though. So this is can beneficial Yae for the elemental skill only though. As for 4-star weapon, there's a couple of them that's very good for Yae Miko, actually quite plenty amount, but I will highlight 2 of them that I think the best. First one is the Witsit, because Witsit basically the subset gives you critical damage, and the effect also very useful, that beneficial everything to Yae Miko. The attack buff and the elemental buff and the elemental mastery buff, all beneficial for Yae Miko though. So that's why especially if you have at the R5, then equip this. Even at the R1 is still very good though. It's just like take notes, this is not really consistent because it can only trigger every 30 seconds. Other than that, if you buy a battle pass, then you may try this Solar Pearl, because this is technically good. The substat gives you crit rate, and the effect also good, but take notes, you have to trigger normal attack, but it will buff further your elemental skill and burst by 20% for 6 seconds, which is actually very good though. That's why if you have maybe R5, maybe Solar Pearl, I believe the power almost close to a 5-star weapon though. So that's why those two that I think the best. But other than that, if you kind of free to play or you're kind of old-time player that you got this or Sword Eye, I think this is also can for Yae Miko, because the attack substat can, yeah, beneficial Yae, and you will get energy recharge back, because you know Yae Miko need a lot of kinda energy recharge because her bars is quite a lot. That's why this is kinda quite useful for you. Other than that, you can try the Black Cliff Agate. That also not bad because the subset gives you critical damage. The effect is just like you have to defeat enemy first, then you can enjoy the buff first. And also other than that, you can try the new catalyst that not so free to play but 4-star. It calls Wandering Even Star. I think for the support Yae that only focus on elemental skill, you can utilize this because it can give you buff attack from your elemental mastery if you kind of only care in that turret, and yeah, can be beneficial to your team though. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the 4-star weapon. For the artifact sets, there's 2 artifact sets that I think the best for Yae Miko. I'll start first the one that I will to say the convenient build or the very easy to build artifact though. So the first one is going for the 2-piece of Thundering Fury and 2-piece of Gladiator Veneer, all like Seminawa or like Echo's Offering or whatever that have the similar effect like attack increased by 80% though. So these 2-piece actually very good because it's very easy to build, and I would say finding 2-piece is easier than finding 4-piece, and then it's also still give you like high elemental skill, a high elemental burst, very convenient, work in general like in every team, work in like electrocharge or whatever dendro. So this is work very universally. That's why I say this is the best in general, and very easy and very convenient. That's why I say this is convenient build. But if you kind of want to focus more into Yae Miko elemental skill or turret, and yet you don't want to sacrifice her elemental burst damage, and you kind of more into Dendro team, then I would say you may go for a 4-piece of Gilded Dreams though, because the 2-piece is good. If it gives you elemental mastery by 80, will buff Yae Miko elemental skill or turret. The 4-piece also good, both effect can beneficial Yae, the attack beneficial Yae, EM buff beneficial Yae though. I also say the most pros about this set is that you will make your elemental skill or turret become as the strongest, even like stronger than the 2-piece, and yet the elemental burst still very high. Of course, not as high as the 2-piece, but still considered high though. And the second is that I would say this set is the best in term of the damage compared to two-piece, but there's a couple of cons though. First is that the consistency about this artifact is not that consistent, because let's say you go with the different elemental type, you will get a different buff. If you go with the same elemental type with Yae, you get a different type of buff though. So in order for you to get the maximum potential of Yae, you either become less flexible, or you have to accept you will get a different buff treatment though. And other than that, the upgrade of this Gilded Dreams compared to two-piece of Gladiator Finale and Thundering Fury is actually very minor, very small, probably only 5%. So although this is the best one, the upgrade is not huge though. That's why I would say, if you already have solid of this two-piece and you specifically want to upgrade Yae Miko and you go to that domain, I would say it's not worth at all, unless you want to farm with kind of Dendro team, kind of like Nahida, you want Kole, and then you go to this domain, then sure, and you have like a lot like solid 4-piece of Gilded Dream, then for sure you can upgrade for Yae Miko. But for specifically go just for Yae Miko, it's not worth though. But if you still don't have the artifact set that I mentioned, you may go with this alternative set. First one, you can go just like the mixture between like Gladiator with another like 2-piece of Shimenawa, so both of them get like attack, or like 2-piece Gladiator with two-piece of Wonder Truth, or whatever that combination between attack increase or like elemental mastery increase. That's still solid though for Yae Miko though. Other than that, you may go with the Emblem of Sapphire Fate. This is basically will buff more into your burst and helping the Yae Miko energy regain. So this is more also like into the comfy build, but I would say not as strong as those Gilded Dreams and 2-piece Thundering Fury and Gladiator though. But this is still okay for the 4-piece Emblem Sapphire Fate. For the artifacts main set, I would say the best in general, just go with the classic build like DPS or sub DPS type though. So first one in here going for attack sense, and in here going for electro damage bonus, and for the circlet going for crit rate or crit damage, depends what you need though. Unless you want to focus on just turret only, then you can go with the full EM though. But I also say, take notes, your burst will come very low. That's why I only recommend if you kind of fence on the turret only, or you kind of C6 or probably in Dendro team. But most of the time I'll recommend this classic build. So for the subset, your priority is crit damage, and second is energy recharge, and the third one is depends. If you're going attack kind of build like me, then going for elemental mastery is very good. But if you already focus on elemental mastery, then your another subset you should aim is that attack percentage. So basically crit damage, energy recharge, elemental mastery, or attack percentage. That's good. For energy recharge for Yae Miko, how much that you usually need? Because Yae Miko have a lot of energy burst cost. So for me the ideal is around 180, but because mine is already C1, so 140, 150 is fine though. So for Yae Miko Constellation, I would say Yae Miko Constellation, I would say is pretty solid. All of them pretty useful. I would say C1 is actually good for quality of life. If you can get energy regain more, so you can trigger easier for your bars. This is actually helping me a lot. But actually I have to say it's not really super important. The C12 thing, I have to say that's the more important. It will basically will unlock the maximum potential of your elemental skill. It become level 4, so your turret becomes stronger though. That's why I would say if you're kinda aiming for early Constellation, C2 is the best stopping point though. C3 even also good because it can buff your elemental skill, but I think C2 still best for stopping point though. This is also good still. This one also still very good also because can buff your electro damage though by 20% though. So that's why I would say this is still solid also. This one also solid because can buff your burst, right? So become stronger. This one even like I would say one of the best C6 because it will ignore like 60% of Yae Miko. It's basically you can make AFK gaming though. Yae Miko become very strong, same like Raiden Shogun though, but the different Raiden Shogun on C2, that's way easier to obtain. This one harder because C6, but I would say this is still a solid constellation. But I would say if you ask me which one that worth to pull, either C2 or C6 though. So for Yae Miko, basically Yae Miko is sub DPS, right? So she's very kind of flexible, so can pair with a lot of team though. But what the fundamental of pairing with Yae Miko? Usually Yae Miko is very good with the Animo or the one that elemental buffer like Kazuo or Sucrose though. And other than she's very good with Taser team, the one that you pair with Hydro and Electro. So you can trigger electro charge, something like that, so it's usually good, something like Kokomi, or double like electro, so can get more particle, or with the latest reaction, which is with Dendro, good like in a quicken, hyper bloom, something like that though. So here couple of the teams that I already provide you. Hopefully this has become inspiration. Not all of them become like, how to say, very efficient, but at least passable. And if you don't believe, you can just watch my old video. All of them can achieve 36 star or in Abyss. So the first lineup I used when Yae Miko released, which is Raiden Shogun, Yae, Kazuha, and Kokomi. In here, of course, Raiden as a hyper carry, Yae, Kazuha as a sub DPS, and Kokomi as a healer and trigger the electro charge. Other than that, if you want to make your Yae Miko as a main DPS in here, but I don't really recommend, but I like it because I'm Yae main, so I make Yae Miko as a main damage dealer in here, Yelan, sub DPS, Kazuha, buffer, and Bennett as a healer in here. And now we will move to the more into the Dendro team now, which is Nahida, Yae Miko, Xiangling, Kokomi. This is basically, I'll say, crazy mixed reaction that can broke your monitor, because a lot of reaction happened like that, even makes like, I don't know what's happening, hyper bloom, like Bargain, whatever, everything at once in here. But this is very fun for me, I don't know why. But if you hate kinda those like mixed reaction, then don't use this team. Other than that, this is some kind of Sino team. This is more focused into aggravate, so take notes if you're fighting like Electro Suns, then don't do that because you will probably cannot finish though. But basically in Sino main DPS, Nahida, Yae, sub DPS, Cookie as a healer. And oops, no, this one. And in here more into the Hyper Bloom Yae, so you use Yae as a to trigger the aggravate, Nahida of course the Dendro one, the Shincho to trigger the Bloom, and Sango no Miya as a healer and Bloom also. And other than that, in here, if you don't want kind of too much Hydro, then you can just pair with Kazuha. But take notes in here, if you want to Kazuha, before you apply Hydro, you do the swirl first with the Electro, then you apply Hydro. Because if not, swirl cannot swirl the Dendro itself. So don't forget about. So this is a little bit tricky team, but still usable. And that's pretty much the team though for Yae Miko. And there's still plenty of Yae Miko team that I still not mentioned, so apologize, but hopefully it's helpful for you. So that's it though for a simple guide for Yae Miko. I believe already covered the fundamental of Yae Miko, and also say overall Yae Miko is getting better, and thanks to Dendro, so she have more versatile and have more utility though. So even though you say it's same like Fischl, but it's not bad, right? If you have double Fischl. And then yeah, I wish the best of luck of your pool. Hopefully you get a lot of Yae Miko. And if you like the video, feel free to hit subscribe button and like, and enjoy the Abyss run though. Bye bye.
有限なるライト。